Hi, I'm Suzanne.
And I'm John, and this is the Flex Life 5 podcast, episode number 4.
4? Okay. So we're reaching in and we're diving in a little bit of how to make your life easier and how we've made our life easier or how we would possibly want to make our life easier in the future.
So, in financial independence, business, and in life, we want to make our lives so much easier, and we've started to make our lives easier. For example, I make my life easier and our family's life easier by using an au pair.
What's an au pair?
So, an au pair is like a nanny, but we use a nanny that is from out of the country. So we used an agency and got an au pair or a nanny that is a live-in for our family to help in the everyday things that happen with our two girls, and like taking the kids to school and
So that must cost hundreds of thousands of dollars?
oh, super terrible. It's actually cheaper than going to after school childcare and all those little like hourly things that you would have to hire a babysitter for.
That's awesome.
And it may be a little bit more expensive than like the 2 or 3 hour after school care that you might normally get, but at least they get consistency over time, and they get that interaction all the time and consistent action all the time, and we know exactly who's taking care of our children all the time.
So basically you're hiring a full-time worker, so like 40 hours a week.
45 hours a week,
45.
every week.
45. So knowing the numbers behind that, each agency is different, I'm sure, but you're getting a great deal.
It's
Absolutely
less
amazing.
than the cost of childcare in the U.S. for sure.
Absolutely. So one of the reasons we need to go into this is you and I travel for work.
Yeah.
So you can't run over and fix something at one of your rentals. And as Bill and I, mainly Bill, has been dealing with a plumber about 1,500 miles from here, it'd be a little bit difficult to run by, take a look at it ourselves, and then fix the problem. So if you have real estate especially, you've got to have some professionals involved.
Absolutely. And my family and my businesses needed more time. And, you know, my husband needed to learn more of the businesses and the real estate. And so we took the opportunity to get some more help at home and in the house so that he could spend more time learning the business and the computer and all of the things behind the business while I'm away. And so being able to spend all that extra time in the business really made a lot more sense. So having extra people to be able to handle the low dollar tasks to handle the high dollar tasks
Or even
made
high
a lot
dollar.
more sense.
You don't want me working on your electricity,
Well, absolutely.
and I wouldn't want you working on my plumbing.
If I'm working on plumbing, there's going to be some big issues.
Leak. There's going to be an explosion.
There might be some TNT involved.
And some flooring that needs replaced and everything else. But we have had to, Bill and I incorporate a boutique hotel like we mentioned before in St. Charles. And we hired landscapers. We had a custom fire pit.
You used a landscaper?
Yes, we used a landscaper.
You know what? I hired a lawn guy 2 years ago, and that was the best thing that I could have done.
Amazing. People that add value to your life. So I guess for me, and I'm thinking that maybe for you as well, this book that we have behind us, Who Not How, was instrumental. But as we were talking a little bit before this podcast, you almost have to let it sink in and say, who can I hire? And that's the whole premise of the book. Or who can do this instead of how can I make the time to do it myself? So if we did every single task in our businesses away or in our homes, for that matter, or in your home, at your house or your individual thing, what what could you do to make your life better? And an example is having your windows cleaned at your house. We hired somebody when we were living in Northeast Missouri for about $200 to clean all the windows inside and out.
Yeah.
And they had the equipment. We didn't have to buy the equipment. It didn't involve our time. I didn't hate my life. Bill wasn't up on a ladder, or I wasn't up on a ladder on the second floor outside, doing the windows.
You know who told me about Who Not How?
Who?
You.
Was it really?
It was you.
Oh.
And I really didn't think much of the Who Not How or the concept of Who Not How until I started using other people to do a lot of the things. And you mentioned that you have your fire pit, and we just had a very large fire pit installed at one of our Airbnbs, and it was done in 4 days.
Awesome.
It did take 2 weeks for them to get there, but it is something that would have taken us at least, I would say at least 8 weeks to have done. So not only is it who not how, but it's who can do it faster,
more efficiently,
easier,
professionally,
and better than we could do it. It may not be cheaper. I mean, we could have done it cheaper, but it wouldn't have looked better.
Have you ever seen that video, Steve Trevino, where they talk about putting the playground together, and it's like, if you get the right person there, they can put it up instantly instead of saving you 3 days of headache. It's
just 3 days. I would think that this saved me
couple weeks.
Oh, it saved, between all of these things that we've just talked about,
yeah,
I am sure that it saved me a divorce.
Yeah.
It has saved me so many headaches. And it's also, just the au pair alone has saved the ability to, maintain a family. I mean, really, our ability to spend time and quality time, the times that I'm home and the times that we're able to spend true good time together.
Or take a vacation.
And take quality vacation time.
You were just
together.
in Hawaii, right? So it would have been hard to handle something back home.
I mean, we were able to, the au pair was not with us in Hawaii, and we were able to spend time with my parents and all the time together, and we had everybody managing everything at home.
That's so nice. One thing you told me that has been a game changer in Bill and I's life, and some very important people that we love, is U-Haul movers.
Oh, yeah. So
John had moved from Virginia back to Kansas, close to his parents, and he had hired some movers. And, a moving company can be so expensive. I think when we moved 3 hours one time, it was the company I was working for paid $11,000 or $12,000.
Oh, and the military always pays through the nose for big movers, yeah.
But we have hired U-Haul movers for one of Bill's brothers, one of my brothers, our son, and it seems like one other person. But you go on U-Haul like you're gonna, not like rent a truck, but they have services that you can employ, and you can say how many people you need. They will come to wherever you want. Let's say you just wanted to move this bedroom to that bedroom. They would do that for you. They don't. You go to the website, and down at the bottom it says U-Haul movers, and then they have a list of all the movers, and they have like their star reviews, and then they have a bunch of reviews. How much they cost for how many people? Right. So like if you need 2 for 2 hours, or if you need 2 for 8 hours, as my brother-in-law did, it made him being able to move very affordably. Yeah. I mean, we're talking $100 an hour to get 2 people who are professional movers. They're in, they're out. They don't supply the boxes or the packing paper or the U-Haul truck or whatever truck you're going to use if you're going to use a personal truck. Right. But their hands, so you can be doing other things.
Right.
And I'm telling you, it's made a world of difference in our lives, because we've hired them personally too, and the people that we love. And I'm getting ready to help my sister-in-law move somewhere, and I'm like, don't worry, we've got that taken care of. So if you've never tried that, a lot of people don't know about that.
I've only had one bad experience with them.
And why was that?
That was Philadelphia, and I think it's because I rushed them. I called them and I said, "Where are you? Why aren't you there?" And basically they came and they took everything out of the apartment. They threw it in the truck. They didn't box anything up. They didn't do anything. They didn't take any of our...
But that was reflected on their reviews, right?
Oh, yeah. But they took all of our boxes. They threw the boxes in the truck. They didn't do anything. Literally, one thing broke. But literally nothing was boxed. Nothing was done.
You were lucky.
And everything was...
Are you trying to talk a Santa out of this, John?
I had no words for how bad it was.
Disclaimer.
But yet...
Don't be bossy with the person who's pushing your drugs when you go to sleep.
And
don't make them mad. And don't make your U-Haul movers mad.
And don't piss off the movers. But literally every other time I've used them, they've been great. And I've never had a problem. I've moved with them probably 8 times too. I mean, I've moved 42 times. And total. But not with, I mean, at least 8 times with U-Haul movers too. And I've never had a problem other than that. And they got it done. They got it done on time. But yeah, I would not put them on that much of a time crunch. I just had a huge time crunch that day. And sure enough...
and moving's stressful.
Didn't go
Moving
well.
is so stressful. It's got to be one of the top things.
I'm sure. I mean, there's a lot of things on stress level.
Yeah. Okay, so we're mentioning several things, and we kind of made a list. Accountant, highly recommend. Unless you're very, very simple taxes, they have so many resources. My accountant has saved me tens of thousands, if not $100,000 worth of time, frustration, a divorce.
Well, and we called them about different things to make sure that we're doing things right, and we verify that our thoughts are right on our taxes too. So it's, your accountant shouldn't be the last minute, hey, here's all my documents in my W-2 and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, unless
your
that's all you, if all you have is a W-2, then sure. That's probably it. Do TurboTax.
Yeah.
But if you have more than a W-2 and your IRA form and that's it, then you can probably do TurboTax and that's it. But if you have investments other than your work IRA and your W-2, then you probably need an accountant, and I would recommend it.
I will tell you, and I was telling you how Paula saved us $33,000 one year because she knew of a tax credit in the state of Missouri, and both Bill and I were both W-2s, so I think the $33,000 she saved us that year. And I'm not trying to say that we pay that much in state taxes, but she was able to take it over multiple years, but we were able to get that credit in 1 year.
Absolutely amazing.
So I'm like, I used to love doing our taxes. Don't get me wrong, but tax time's coming up, and do not wait till April 14th and then get on Facebook and ask, anybody got a great accountant they recommend? Because like John said, you need to be establishing these relationships right now for next year and say, what do I need to save? What format do you want it in? It's a lot of work just to get the stuff to the accountant.
I never loved doing taxes.
I don't either. Okay.
I mean, I love talking about them and I love figuring out how to save money on taxes, but I don't love doing taxes.
I love tax credits. Okay, you were telling me about fences. Do you want to get out there and build a fence yourself in 100-degree heat?
I'm not a builder. But I did contact Home Depot, and I had them out to look at our one of our Airbnbs. I wanted a privacy fence. And so, even though I'm not a builder, I do know roughly how things should cost. And so I had them out and I said, so how much would it be to build a fence? And they said, well, It'll be somewhere around $10,500 or so dollars.
Is that labor and materials or just labor?
That was labor and materials, but that was still
Expensive.
a lot more expensive than I thought. I was like, really? I think I'll get at least another opinion. So I went out and I asked another company of somebody that was good in town and well known to at least myself and my parents. And so I got another opinion. And so we are actually having next week in 4 days, two houses done for fences.
Two fences for
Yeah,
two houses.
two fences, two privacy fences, labor, materials, and everything for about $10,000 for two privacy fences.
Nice. I love that.
Both the same size.
You know what I love? House cleaning.
Oh, that's so nice.
Very nice. So what I try to do is, Bill and I have some long-term rentals in Alabama, and what I try to do is employ those people that are already using our services. So I'm giving back to them. So like another one on this, my house cleaner in Alabama. So when, let's say somebody borrows my house for a week and they go stay down there, because Bill and I are traveling quite a bit, and I need the house cleaned before they get there or after they get there, then I just give her a code. She gets in the house, she cleans the house, but she's also a travel agent. And she's just amazing, and I trust her completely, and she's one of the best tenants we have. And it's giving back to her, and she's adding to our life because she's renting from us.
And her code's 911. Yes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just call 911 and she gets you a trip and a cleaning.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
And you've used a virtual assistant before, right?
I have used a virtual assistant. Sometimes virtual assistants are great. Sometimes they do amazing work, and sometimes you have to hire another virtual assistant. I have learned that sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't work out so great. So, virtual assistants, you have to go through several to make sure that they are going to work out great. So, and you have to be very direct in what you want and what you are expecting.
Right.
That's
any job, though, right?
Yeah, that's very true. So you have to keep on top of them, and you have to keep track of what product you are getting for what you are expecting. Like, for example, Francisco had a cookbook that was being made, and he had to do basically a weekly check-in
with a virtual assistant.
With the virtual assistant on his recipes and what he was expecting for the entire cookbook being made. And it was quite the process. It was much more than I expected.
Really?
And he was so not happy with me making him do that. But now he's happy having it done. But I had tax work being done by a virtual assistant and all the receipts being done with
accounting work.
So, yeah, all the prep work for the receipts for our businesses and all the QuickBooks work for that. So it's kind of background work for the profit and loss statements and that kind of thing. It was working until kind of the adding up of the hours and that kind of thing. So I had to speed it up. If it wasn't working, I had to start taking it over. So I had to start learning it, and I've now kind of taken it over.
So you got to find another who.
I have to either find another who or I have to start taking it over. So right now I've taken it over. I hired somebody else, and they were not doing. So the who wasn't working.
Sometimes you got to find the right fit. Even with an au pair or a babysitter or a nanny or an accountant.
Oh, the au pair. We had to go through two of those. Well, the second one worked. The first one did not work.
Accounting. You had a couple of
I
those.
went through 4 of those.
So if you can find a recommendation from somebody who's involved in a business similar to yours or a job.
And sometimes those don't work out either. My first and second one were recommendations.
Yeah, you could find that person through other people that you might know and who've had great luck or used somebody for a very long time. The last one, I guess, or last couple two I want to mention because we're getting short on time here is Christmas light, putting up Christmas lights. And sometimes that person has the equipment to do it. They have the knowledge to do it.
I want one of those.
That's so nice. I didn't have to hear Bill in the background going through all the lights, plugging them in. They supplied the lights. They put them up. They took them down.
No Christmas bill falling off the roof?
No.
Oh.
No emergency visit. No cast. No broken leg. No heart attack for me.
Oh, well, hey.
No consult to one of my orthopedic surgeons saying, does he need surgery for this? That's happened. And then maybe property management. Have you thought about hiring a property manager?
Actually, that was one of the things we thought about kind of very early on. But she was a realtor and more of a realtor than a property manager.
Finding the right person.
She just wasn't interested in property managing so much. She was more interested in, do I really have to do that? I can try and get somebody if you do the work.
Our
So
property
that didn't really
manager
work.
that we inherited when we bought our properties in Alabama, we bought it from people who were getting out of the business, and she would call us and say, what do you want to do about this? And then we'd end up calling our plumber, our electrician, our contractor, and it's like,
So long as you did the work, she was okay with managing it?
yeah, she was okay with taking the 10%.
Yeah, that kind of seems familiar.
But we got to find the right person is what we're saying. And so if you had, I want you to leave us some comments in below. And we were trying to brainstorm, and what would you use if you had all the money in the world? Let's say you could have this luxury item, or you consider it a luxury, like housekeeping. Housekeeping's not a luxury when they say you should hire it out if let's say you go to work and you make $30 an hour, and you can have somebody babysit for $10, $15 an hour, and you can go make 30 or whatever. You're able to make more of an hourly wage or hire your services out. Then you should hire something that somebody's an expert in, pay your accountant, pay your housekeeper, pay that sort of thing. And it just stimulates the economy sort of thing. Is what would you, drop us a comment in the chat below on the YouTube or whatever, and let us know what would you consider something that you need somebody to do services for you that you would love to have, and then maybe just figure out how you can implement that, right?
Right. Even if you can't implement it now, what is something that you might want in the future, and then start thinking of how you might implement it in the future, either in your personal life or in your business life. Because I think that's something to strive for, and something that maybe you'll give us an idea of how we could implement that in our either financial independent life or our business life, because those are things that I think we can all be, trying to work for.
Yeah, and it makes you more flexible, right?
Flexible life.
Yeah, flexible life. Like us and subscribe to us and follow us on our channel, and let us know what you think below. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for visiting.